if you are thinking about starting a business on the side, or maybe you've even been dabbling into it, I'm gonna share something that's a little controversial. Stick with me on this video. Why you shouldn't build a business on the side and what you should do instead. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a 7-figure certified life and business coach, as well as wife and mom, CEO. I wear all the hats and do all the things, but I know many of you are watching this and you're inspired by my story and you're like, hey, I'm a woman in corporate America, but I would love to transition into my own coaching practice. I wanna be a CEO as well. And so if you are thinking about starting a business on the side, or maybe you've even been dabbling into it, I'm gonna share something that's a little controversial. Stick with me on this video, but I'm gonna actually share why you shouldn't build a business on the side and what you should do instead. So if I've already got you nervous and you're like, oh my goodness, but I've already started my business, stay tuned because we're gonna get into it and I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to do instead. All right, so I know you might have already launched a website, you might have a logo, you might be doing all the things, and you're like, what are you talking about? I'm already building my business on the side. I've watched so many of your videos. I'm, looking to build a coaching business. What do you mean that I shouldn't build a business on the side? Hear me out, hear me out. So I got the idea for this video because I was thinking about what I would do differently if I was starting from scratch, and particularly if I was starting from scratch at this present moment in my life. So I know we talk a lot about, oh, if I could fast forward, to this day and age, or if I could rewind to this day and age. But as I think about it, as I stand before you, I am now in my mid-30s. I'm a married mom of 2 kids. And when I first started my business, I was newly married to my husband, but I was in my late 20s. I didn't have kids yet. I later got pregnant with my son after I quit my job. And so I was thinking about, man, what would I do differently if I were in this present station that I am in life? Because so many of my clients are around my same age. They too, have spouses or partners, family responsibilities, kids, the works. And would I do things differently? And the truth is, yes, I would do things differently. And I wouldn't build a business on the side. Are you ready? Okay, here's what I would do. If I was still in my corporate job and I was where I am right now, the same age I am, same situation, what I would do instead is I would build a company on the side. Oh, okay. I know you're like, Courtney, are you serious? We're splitting hairs here. No, we're not splitting hairs. And I actually realized the difference between the 2 words and the power of language when I was working with my speaking coach not too long ago. So a while ago, I had a very important talk coming up. I was speaking at a large nonprofit organization that supports women and girls, and I was their keynote speaker. So I did what I always do. I invested in myself. I actually invested in a speaking coach who also happens to be a friend of mine, amazing TED Talk speaker, etc. And so we actually had a weekend together where we were working over my speech and I was practicing, live in front of her, and we were doing the renditions and all of this. And so as we were sitting down and she was mapping out my story that I was gonna tell from the stage, she asked me to clarify because she noticed that as I was sharing my story, so I would say, oh yeah, I was working in my corporate job and my company at the time did this and did that, or they didn't like this, or they didn't like that, or they were supportive here, but they weren't supportive there, but I, didn't care and I was gonna build my business and et cetera, et cetera. She actually stopped me and she said, hey, so I just want some clarification. I've noticed that when you talk about, your startup or, the company that you run now, you use the word business. But when you talk about the corporation that you used to work for, use the word company. Is there a reason for that? And I'm just flagging this for you because I don't want the audience to be confused. So she was thinking about it from a standpoint of like, okay, the listeners are hearing, we don't want them to be confused about which entity I'm talking about when I share this story. But as I paused and really thought about that, I thought that was significant because on a subconscious level, I was using those words because when I said business, at the time when I was building my business, I was almost exclusively focused on the sales side, right? And so to me, this language, this word business was around, okay, how can I create this entity that generates revenue for me so that I can have enough in order to replace, my corporate income and ultimately quit my job. But I found it interesting that also subconsciously, when I talked about a larger organization, an organization that was bigger than one person and that was selling a product that was not one person, I would automatically divert to using the word company. And so I say all that to say, if I had to rewind things, but I had to start over from where I stand right now, I would shift my mindset and I would focus on building a company versus just a business, because not only would it help me get out of my corporate job faster, but it would allow me to build that company on the side while still maintaining my other responsibilities. So as you know, my marriage is very important to me. My kids are very important to me. Things outside of, just running a business or running a company is very, very important to me. And so I find that too many corporate women get so hung up on, oh my goodness, how am I going to replace my income, that they get themselves into business models that might not be conducive to the company and the lifestyle ultimately that they want to build. Because let's just be real, there are 1,000 ways to make $1,000, right? I know a lot of coaches start out and they get on the $150 an hour, treadmill that I preach against, but maybe they're doing one-on-one sessions, or maybe they're doing packages and programs that don't really fit for them. Maybe they're doing one-on-one when they should be doing group. Maybe they're doing group when they should be doing one-on-one. I find that you tend not to ask those questions when you are exclusively focused on building, quote unquote, the business, because you are thinking about revenue first. But when you think about a company, you start to ask other questions such as, who do I need on my team to help me run this company? What is something that I can sell that I personally don't have to sell, right? What can I create that I don't have to sell, even if I'm the face of it? What can I create that other people are selling for me? Can I have a sales team? Can other people handle my marketing? Just that shift in language, building a company versus building a business, changes the direction of what you focus on. And so if I were just getting started, I would focus on building a company, because having a team is going to accelerate your growth that much faster. Additionally, I would focus on that because if you're at, this present stage that I'm in life, right? So, mid-career, we'll say, mid-30s, maybe mid-40s, etc. You've achieved a level of tenure in your career. You're probably making more money than you were when you were first entry level. I was making good money. I was making nearly 6 figures when I was in my corporate job, but I was more junior. I had just, graduated through a cohort that they had for this pipeline leadership development program for those of us who came out of college and directly into this particular organization. And so I did that for 4 years, and then I had graduated and got promoted to my first leadership position, but then I left in less than a year. And so if I had to go back and I were, taking this journey from where I stand right now, I would have been further in my career. I would have been making a lot more. I would have had a lot more leadership capabilities under my belt. And so I think we forget that because so much of the content online is around really bootstrapping things and doing things yourself and building from the ground up. But one of the greatest advantages that you have as a corporate leader is, one, you have leadership experience. And let's be frank, you also have a higher salary that you can leverage in order to build your business, or rather build your company from scratch. So instead of thinking that you have to do everything, why not leverage your leadership skills and your maybe more elevated income to invest in a team so that you can build a company that can ultimately run without you? We don't have to wait till we quit our corporate job in order to have that. In fact, you can design that while you're in your corporate job so that that becomes the company that you then step into. And so this also solves a big problem that a lot of people have where they're worried about things like benefits, etc. In fact, I actually talk about that in this video, here, wherever it comes up on the screen, about the big myths that keep corporate leaders stuck in their careers. But I know a big one is benefits. And part of the reason why people think that they can't afford their own benefits, again, is because they're focusing on building businesses and not building actual companies. So if I had to start over from scratch, but I had to start over from where I am today, I would focus on building a company, not a business on the side. So hopefully you see, I promise I am not splitting hairs. It really makes a big difference. And I actually practice what I preach. So not only do I focus on building a company now, I think my team, we're up to 20 or 30 people on staff who support me in all the different things that we do, but also in my coaching certification and marketing program. It's called the Coach of Life Success Certification and Marketing Program. We actually show you how to not only come up with your own coaching methodology and how to build, quote unquote, the business from a revenue standpoint, but you get the opportunity to leverage my team, because I know how difficult it can be to find, team members who can help you, set up your websites and do things on the back end. So when you come into really the family that is the CLS Certification and Marketing Program, you get to leverage my team in order to build a company from the start, a coaching company from the start, not just a business. So if that is something that is of interest to you, you can click the link below to learn more about it. And if you so choose, you can apply, and then you'll be invited to an enrollment call with one of my coordinators who will walk through the entire process with you. So again, hopefully you see that I'm not splitting hairs. There's a big difference between building a company and building a business. And if I had to start over from scratch, I I would focus on building a company. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Go ahead and share what you are gonna do in order to build your company. And if you can't wait for my next video, make sure that you are following me on both LinkedIn and Instagram, where I talk about this in more detail. I actually share the behind the scenes of how I'm building my own company so that you can adopt this for yourself as you are building your company on the side. And if you can't wait for my next LinkedIn or Instagram post or my next YouTube video, make sure you subscribe to my podcast. It's the Courtney Sanders Show on both iTunes and Spotify. And so with that, until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.